today's story recap here. In this video we will continue the thrilling story of the second part of the Squid Game drama. In this part we will be shown to Gi-hoon and his friends who still have to struggle to do anything in order to survive in a game that is crazier and more deadly. Before we get to the storyline, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and turn on the bell, guys. Without further ado, let's get straight to the story. This second part started with showing the participants who had successfully completed the previous candy challenge. After being tired, the participants were given snacks for each person. Doksu, Mir-young and their subordinates were not satisfied with the distribution, and chose to queue again so they could get more snacks. Unexpectedly, the number of snacks turned out to have been adjusted to the number of participants. So because of the actions of his subordinates, some of the participants did not get the snacks. A participant who did not get a part then went berserk and tried to fight Doksu. But unfortunately he was beaten by Doksu to death. All the participants who witnessed the incident were very surprised and asked the committee to do something. The committee doesn't care at all about what happens outside of the game. Instead they show that by eliminating a participant, the prize money will increase. Unexpectedly, it made Doksu and his men think of killing other participants so that their rivals would be reduced. Without realizing, the participants began to divide into several camps. They also cooperate with each other to maintain members in their stronghold. At the same time, a participant was seen doing something with several committees in secret. Apparently the participant was a doctor and some of the committee there committed a crime that the organizers did not know about. So the organizers traded the organs of the dead participants, and the doctor was assigned to remove their organs in exchange for being given information about the next game they were going to play. By getting this information, the doctor can prepare himself in advance before the game starts. At night as usual their room lights will be turned off, so they can rest. But the opportunity was instead used by the doctor and his men to kill the participants in the dark. Suddenly the night was filled with screams of pain and blood everywhere, plus it was pitch black. They also became difficult to save themselves. Gi-hoon, Sang-gu and Ali immediately moved to save Grandpa Il-nam. But they couldn't find Il-nam's grandfather in his bed. It turns out that Grandfather Il-nam had already saved himself by going to the topmost place. From that position he shouted, asking the participants to stop before. That's when the committee came and secured the situation. The room looked very messy with scattered corpses. The bodies were then cleaned and moved by the committee. Long story short, the next day they were gathered again to take part in the next game. This time they were asked to make a team of 10 people. The doctor, who already knew the game, deliberately chose Doksu and his men as his team, because the game they were going to play was tug of war. While Gi-hoon and the other participants who don't know anything choose their closest friends by random. Even Gi-hoon's team is filled with 3 women and 1 grandpa. As a result, the team became an easy target for other teams. The tug of war they will play is not the usual tug of war. They will compete at a height so that one of the losing teams will surely fall and die. Long story short, there comes a time when Team Gi-hoon will fight another team that looks more capable from the start. Gi-hoon feels desperate to see all the members on his team. But right before the game started, Grandpa Il-nam also shared the methods and tricks he used to use when playing tug of war. Now all they need is teamwork and mutual trust. At first they managed to do the trick, but unfortunately because the opponent was very strong, they still can't beat him. Until the last second. Sang-gu also led the team members to take bold steps. He told them all to take 3 steps forward. This is done so that the opposing team automatically falls. Although at first they had doubts, but in the end thanks to that they were able to turn things around and finally win the game. At the end of the game, from 80 participants, now there are 40 remaining participants. After the game is over, as usual the doctor will be called in to perform an organ harvesting operation. At that time, Junho, who was still in disguise, was asked by a committee to participate in the organ delivery. That's where Junho saw what the doctor and the committee were doing. They extracted vital organs from the corpses of the eliminated participants. The organs would later be sold so they could earn money. After completing his task, the doctor also asked the committee for compensation, but the committee admitted that they did not know what the next game would be. This of course made the doctor very angry, because if tonight he did not get any information, the doctor would definitely kill him with his surgical knife. He immediately killed a committee member brutally. After that he went out and escaped from the labyrinth room, and was chased by a committee. Until they finally arrived at the previous game room, where the organizer calmed the doctor down because he didn't want the frontman or organizer to know their secret. But unfortunately the commotion was immediately noticed by the frontman. Not wanting to waste time, he immediately killed the committee and the doctor. Frontman actually doesn't care about the crimes they commit behind him, but in that game he really upholds equality. He did not want any participant to be treated special there. Believe everyone deserves the last chance to defend their life fairly. At the same time, Junho and a committee infiltrate through the secret door. Both of them were assigned to deliver the previous organs to the buyers. Unexpectedly, after passing through the secret passage, the committee pointed a knife right at Junho. It turns out that he had been suspicious of Junho because he was acting strange. To protect himself, Junho took out his gun. With that gun he killed the committee and infiltrated the frontman's room. Meanwhile the frontman and the committee also saw the corpse of another committee that had been shot in the head. The frontman realized the bullet was from a police gun. As a result, he immediately mobilized all the committee to find the intruder. Meanwhile Junho infiltrated the frontman's room. He tried to find out information about his brother from the dozens of files there. He also discovered the fact that his brother had indeed been a participant in the game. After that, it was time for the next game. On the way to the game room, they were also shown the body of the doctor and the bodies of the other committees. They formally apologize and remind them that it will happen to them if they cheat. In this game, they are asked to pair up with 2 people. Because the current number of participants is 39, that means there will be one person who doesn't have a partner. At that time, none of the participants wanted to partner with Grandfather Ilnam. They were afraid that this game would require strength. Feeling sorry, Gi-hoon decides to pair up with Grandpa Ilnam. At the end of the pair selection, Mir-young was left who did not get a partner. Because of that he was taken by the committee to another room. In the game room, each participant is given a bag containing 10 marbles. Within 30 minutes, the participant who gets 20 marbles at the end of the game will be declared the winner. That means they have to compete against their own partner, Gi-hoon, who is paired with Grandfather Ilnam. He must try to wake him up because at that time Grandfather Ilnam's disease was relapse, so he didn't care about the game and wandered around the arena. This of course made Gi-hoon panicked and was forced to yell at Grandpa Ilnam. That way, Ilnam's grandfather realized and wanted to play with him. They decide to play a guessing game. They just need to guess the number of marbles in the opponent's hand. Whether it's odd or even, Grandpa Ilnam unexpectedly shoots correctly, which earns him a lot of marbles. It also makes Gi-hoon even more panicked. Meanwhile, Sang-gu, who was paired with Ali, decided to play fairly in the game. Ali also won and got quite a lot of marbles. Ali felt guilty and couldn't bear to Sang-gu, but inevitably one of them would die. Sang-gu, who had lost, decided to take advantage of Ali's innocence and deceived him. He took all of Ali's marbles and exchanged them for stones. That way he also managed to escape from the game this time. On the other hand, Sae-byeok, who is paired with the woman named Ji-young, chooses to spend their 30 minutes chatting. From there, Ji-young realizes that Sae-byeok deserves to be saved more than he does, considering Ji-young has been living as one Kara and no one will wait for her to be free. That's why he decided to give in and let Sae-byeok escape from the game. Back to Grandpa Ilnam and Gi-hoon. At that time, Gi-hoon only had one marble left, which means that Grandpa Ilnam is only one step away from winning this game. And unexpectedly, Gi-hoon guesses wrong on his last chance. However, because of his illness, Grandpa forgot what Gi-hoon's guess was. Because of that, Gi-hoon changed his guess, so he managed to win. Gi-hoon continues to do this to turn things around. Until finally, Grandpa Ilnam's marbles were only left. At that time, Ilnam's grandfather suggested that they play one more round, but had to risk everything. Gi-hoon, who hears this, feels unfair because he has 19 marbles, while Ilnam's grandfather only has one marble. Hearing this, Ilnam's grandfather said that during the game he knew that he had been fooled by Gi-hoon. But he deliberately let Gi-hoon do that. Gi-hoon, who heard this, felt sad and guilty. Grandpa Ilnam took Gi-hoon's hand and gave him one last marble. Then Grandpa Ilnam also thanked Gi-hoon, who had taken care of him while he was there, and thanks to Gi-hoon too, Grandpa Ilnam felt happy in the last remnants of his life. Right after saying that time ran out, Grandfather Ilnam and the others also declared elimination and shot to death. And the second part is finally finished. Thank you very much, guys, for watching the storyline this time, and if you are curious about the next part, don't forget to comment as much as you can. See you, bye.